I describe myself as the kind of cynic that wants to believe.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a couple of things that happens. One is that I want to have an experience of whatever it is. I've talked to lots of different people over the course of doing this podcast. I want to have an experience that shows to me without a shadow of a doubt, this is real.
Yeah.
And I haven't had one yet.
Okay.
I want to have the kind of experience where, say, I was talking to a psychic and they would say, oh, and they would know something that there's no other way they could have known unless, my Auntie Mim had told them or something like that, and that's not happened yet.
Okay.
So there's that. And then there's the other thing that happens to me is it's about kind of wholeheartedness.
Yeah.
And my cynicism getting in the way of wholeheartedness.
Yeah.
So I might be doing something, maybe a bit of group work, maybe a bit of a particular meditation practice, and I'll be in it and really getting something from it, and then this voice will go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's like being pulled by my reins back into the black and white reality.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in the magic,
and
then I get pulled out into dull reality.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I'd say that's your fear. That's your own fear of your own power. That's your own fear. What is, if you look at, okay, I just let myself go into this and feel these wonderful feelings and find my power and start, casting spells that work and things really come to me. Why could that be scary?
I have no idea. And this is the thing, because consciously, I want it.
But then you would realise and you would have to acknowledge that you are powerful and you are a creator and you are strong.
Oh, interesting.
And that would then set you apart from a lot of other people. We've grown up in a culture, especially in the North, we're horrendous for this, of judging people who are happy, of judging people who are successful.
Who do you think you are?
Of judging people who are wealthy. Oh, look at them. Oh, look at her doing this.
The big I am.
Absolutely. What the fuck is wrong with being the big I am?
Yeah.
What is wrong with being amazing? What's wrong with having a life that is wonderful? How many times people have said to me, what have you got to be so happy about?
Oh.
Well, what have you not got to be happy about? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I live a life of absolute wonderfulness. Shitty things do happen. I still have mortgages to worry about. I still have children who get poorly to worry about. I still have bills to pay and cars to run and, school runs to get to on time, which is always a worry. But why can't I do this in a happy way? This is part of my human experience. Why can't I do this in a happy way? But when we reach a point of happiness, of success, of power, and to be honest, having these things without a reason to have them, we are judged. And what the human heart wants more than anything is to be loved and accepted.
So, launching a podcast is sticking your head above the parapet.
Yeah.
Because the only way a podcast can be successful is if people listen to it.
Yeah.
And people will only listen to it if they know about it.
Yeah.
And people will only know about it if I tell
everyone
them.
about it.
And that's fucking scary.
Yeah, it is.
So what I'm grappling with is about that feeling into your power.
Yeah.
So is there something that you can show me that we can either describe or somehow that would make sense in an audio way?
There's a million different things that you do, but what I will say to you before anything else is, whose life are you living? Whose life did you come here to live? Did you come here to live every bugger else's life, or have you come here to live your own life?
Good question.
And I know I sound I'm getting a bit bossy now, but it's a really important question, because if you don't do it, you're living your life to please everybody else, to fit in with everybody else. But how many people are out there that might listen to this and go, oh, I'm not the only one? How many teenage girls are out there who are sitting thinking, I'd love to do this kind of thing, but I'm so frightened?
Exactly.
Who are being bullied for it? How many people in their 20s would love to do it just for a bit of peace and a bit of, and whether that's meditation, mindfulness, witchcraft, whatever, how many people would love to just take an hour out of their week to go and do a witchcraft class or spend time in the garden?
I think people take the piss just out of people who, we talked about magic and wonder and,
unicorns.
Even the sunrise.
Yeah.
I think people can be a little bit like, oh, she's a bit airy-fairy because she's appreciating a sunrise, appreciating a tree. Are you a tree hugger?
Yeah. Oh, and I am. I love trees.
And that's okay. But anything that implies that we appreciate our lives and we're not miserable, well, that's not very British, is it?
Exactly. But there's a lot of programming goes on to say that, you know, come on, stay small. And I'm not going to get on a political soapbox right now, but come on, stay small, stay miserable, stay poorly, don't branch out. Don't come together as people.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put your head out there for the sun or the moon or the rain to land on. You know, stay with the crowd, stay with the crowd, stay with the crowd. Why? Because
easy to control.
Easy to control. And you lose your individual personal power. We are a collective lot, humans. We like to be with each other. But we didn't come to live anyone else's lives. And each of us came to have such a different and unique experience. But we're so frightened to embrace these experiences because we're scared of being judged.
And I think there's something else about cynicism as an identity.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'm a Scouser, lived in Newcastle for 18 years, something like that. And both cities, I think, have a bit of a kind of cynicism, sarcasm, as part of a sense of humour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And almost that fear that, what if I lost that?
Yeah. It's a massive culture thing, the whole, you know, the salt of the earth people.
Yeah.
The salt of the earth people are good people, and good people don't ever have any money, and they're not successful, and they live their 9 to 5, if you like. They work hard, and then they meet in the pub on a Friday night, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that if you're enjoying your life. But if you were to ask a lot of these people, could you hand on heart say that you enjoyed your job? You enjoyed every aspect of your life? There's not many people could say yes to that. I took a lot of flack in 2007. I worked a very corporate job. I was a training manager. I was a leader of an MVQ centre. I, you know, did the full thing. Very well paid, wonderful career opportunities, prospects, management programs, this, that, and the other, all sorts of different qualifications and things. And I ducked and left to do this, to set up my business. And people thought that I was, you know, a bit of a loony. And then into my face, you know, a lot of people are like, wow, you know, good luck with this. I don't think many of them were expecting I'd still be here in, you know, 2021 doing this. But again, it comes down to intention. It comes down to passion and belief. And saying to yourself, what do I want more? What do I want more? Do I want to live a life that at the end of I go, yeah, that was a good one? Or do I want to live a life where I get to the end and all I'm doing is carrying regrets about not taking that chance?
Yeah.
Not pushing your head above the parapet and going, ooh, because you know what? The fear of the unknown is such a massive block for us because we're programmed that the unknown only carries bad things. We are programmed to think that we stick our head above the parapet and we get an arrow through our forehead or our eye or whatever. But what happens if you look over there and someone stood there going, hey, I've got this opportunity for you, or oh, have a stack of cash, or I've got you a brand new car. And we go, but that sort of stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But it does.
But fear of success is bigger than fear of failure.
Absolutely. And again, why? Because successful people are judged. Happy people are judged. We're all pulled down from where we're trying to get to be. But I genuinely believe the natural human state is a one of happiness, of creation, of inspiration. And yes, bad things happen. There will always be people losing people. People will always be getting poorly. People will always... There'll be car accidents, there'll be money troubles, there'll be illness. This is the human experience.
Yeah.
We've come here to go through this. But we didn't come here to get so hung up on the negative side of it that we miss out on all the magic that's out there.
Yeah.
So it's that balance. But as for something to demonstrate or for you to do, there's a couple of little things that I do with people who are new and a bit like dipping their toe in. So we'll probably do one of my favourites. It's a very short little one.
Okay.
If you give me a moment just to grab a few bits, see what I've got.
I'm intrigued.
So I have some Sharpie markers and some bay leaves and a candle.
Okay.
Now, the different herbs and plants all hold different qualities in terms of healing, magical qualities, connection in with fairies, spirit, whatever you like. And this is the most simple little magic spell you could ever do. So I'm going to just pick a bay leaf out of the jar. And these are they're not, magic, organically grown bay leaves that I've traiped through the jungle to get or anything. These are from good old Tesco's. I'm trying to find a whole one now. There we are. Just, that could be that one. So, bay is known for its granting of wishes.
Oh, good.
I'm going to tell you to be careful. And anyone who's doing this at home, don't set yourself on fire. That's what I'm going to say. So what I want
literally
you to
or metaphorically?
Metaphorically, go for it. Burn away. Here's a Sharpie marker. And I'm not even going to look at it, but I would like you to write just one word on there of something that you are wishing for.
A big thing or a little thing?
Anything you want.
And is there a time frame?
If you want to put a time frame on, you can. It's all about intention. This is your wish.
Can it be 2 words?
Anything you like. You can even draw a symbol or a picture or whatever. It just focuses your intention. And this is a lovely little one. It's one of the things I do for people who are just kind of dipping their toe in and want to start with something little. It's not big and ritualistic. It's not, but it's you taking a little bit of a risk.
I've just written podcast success.
Excellent. Good wish.
Yeah.
Very good wish. So what we're going to do now is there's your candle. And we just need a flame. Doesn't really matter where the flame comes from. You could use a gas hob. One of the things about witchcraft that I'm very passionate about is the fact that there's so many different witchy supplies out there, and they're wonderful and they're beautiful. And my goodness, I've got quite a few. But you don't need anything to start with. One of my favourite witches through all of history is Granny Weatherwax from the Terry Pratchett novels. I don't know if you've ever read the Terry Pratchett novels.
I have.
She doesn't have fancy paraphernalia. She uses her bread knife off her bench in the kitchen as her, as her magical tools. She uses pans out the kitchen. She doesn't have special, paraphernalia that is just for witches. It's part of who she is and who she lived her life. And if she wants to use a bread knife, she'll just use a bloody bread knife. It's wonderful. Anyway, back to the spell. So I want you to take your first bay leaf and hold it just in your hands. Okay, and you're asking for the success of the podcast. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to say anything. So this is just what goes on in your mind. So when you spend a few moments just thinking about what life would look like when your podcast is successful, and what you would feel like when your podcast is successful. Think of those emotions. You wake up in the morning, you see the figures, what are those emotions that run through you? And again, don't answer out loud, just let that feeling well up in you. You bump into a friend in the street, I see you have that podcast, how's it doing? And you go on to tell them how fantastic it's doing. Any little bubbles of fear that comes up, just tell them you'll deal with them later, because it's not for now. What does it mean to you on a physical level, on a personal level, on a financial level? How would life change when this is successful? Now, when you're ready, just take a nice big deep breath and breathe all those lovely feelings in. And breathe out. Now we're going to take that bay leaf, because we've just infused that bay leaf with the emotion that this wish has, all behind it, because it's the feelings that make magic happen. Combine emotion, which is spirit, with the magical qualities of the bay leaf, with the fire, with the air around us that the fire needs in order to work, and this is what makes the magic. So very carefully hold the bay leaf by its very little tiny end, and you're going to get a shock because it could go. Hold it over the flame and just burn it away.
It's a good crackle, isn't it?
It's a good crackle. Now, what is interesting when I see the spell done is that sometimes they go boosh and they're gone in seconds. Other times they take a while to burn.
What does that mean?
It's your resistance to letting the wish come true.
Oh.
It's your resistance to the magic. Because the one thing...
my resistance to my fingers burning off.
Well, there's that. I'll get you a thing. But when it doesn't burn particularly very well, this is because there's either blockages or delays or worries and fears, and just let it burn. Just let it burn away. Yeah. Blockages, fears, worries, normally that come from within us rather than external sources around.
Or that it just doesn't happen overnight.
Well, that's true. That's true. And if it is the case that you're expecting it to happen overnight, and it may take 2 nights, then you might see a bit of a delay on the burning.
Well, the launch is tomorrow, as we're talking.
Yeah.
And I've already, like, I've got a couple of, like, preview episodes.
Yeah.
And they're already out, and I've reached 100 already.
Fantastic.
So
Excellent.
that's quite good.
Just put it out there. Put it out there and let yourself believe.
So, in terms of using a spell, or would you call that a spell or a ritual? Is that
spell. Spells are more to achieve something, be it banishing something, attracting something, making something happen. Whereas rituals are more about connection, be it connection with yourself, be it connection with goddess energy or god energy or the moon or the season or the festival or anything like that. Rituals are about connection, spells are more to achieve something.
So I was thinking around having a spell in order to kind of dispel cynicism.
You could just come to the mindset within yourself that you don't need to prove it. And that's when you know you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's, having to justify yourself is, I don't mind it because I'm put on the spot a lot, and I quite enjoy it now. But for me, it's not about convincing anyone it's real, because where I am in my journey, and I know I've got a long way to go, the spirituality of any description, and particularly witchcraft, it never ends, and it's not meant to end. It's not meant to. But for me, when I talk to people about it, it's not to convince them that what I do is real and it's the right way. I talk about it because I love it so much and it feels so good, and I see people changing their lives. I think that if you have a belief that you are not comfortable challenging or comfortable being challenged about, then you don't believe it that well. If you have a belief about witchcraft and you can't take a few questions, well, why is it important to you? Why does it work? Why is it, if you can't handle challenging it, maybe you don't believe all that much anyway. Also, that works, we can challenge the goddess, we can challenge the energy, the universe. In some ways, doing little spells like that with the bay leaf is a challenge in itself. Say, right, well, prove to me this is going to work.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. So the energy out there doesn't mind us challenging it.
Yeah.
It's not going to turn around and think, we want everyone to believe blindly and just follow on in absolute blind faith about witchcraft, about, whatever it is.
Well, this is the other thing, isn't it? Like, a bit of healthy cynicism is a good thing.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's nice to have a bit of external validation or that proof. You were saying before about looking for something that's going to give you that 100% absolute proof.
You've got a wow moment. I want a wow moment.
You'll find that within you. That won't be anything external. There won't be, great Auntie Mavis appearing to you in your kitchen. You'd probably shit yourself if that happened, And, an instantaneous manifestation of a spell or, things do happen. But they only happen once you believe. Don't look for some proof to help you believe. Start believing and maybe you'll get the proof.
But how do you start believing? That's the thing.
Just let your fear go.
How?
Make a decision. That intention. I want to be someone who believes in magic.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So how do I set that intention?
You've done it.
Is it literally just saying the words, I want to be someone who believes in magic?
Yeah. I want to be someone who believes in magic. I want to be someone who receives guidance. I want to be someone who has magic spells that work for them.
And would I light a candle while saying that? Or
if you see, spell work and ritual work could be the most simplest thing, like burning a bay leaf. Or you could set out a full circle in your living room with your quarters, north, south, east, west. You could bring in your elements. You have your different colours, different vibes going on. You could have your music playing, your incense billowing through the room. You could be chanting and calling in gods and goddesses of all different lineages and cultures. You could be sky-clad, i.e. naked. Never done witchcraft work naked. No one needs that.
Certainly not with a flame. That's
dangerous.
That's
very
dangerous. Nipples waiting to happen.
You could have a second circle of crystals. You could have, pentagrams on the floor. You could, go through all sorts of stuff. It's absolutely irrelevant at the end of the day because it comes down to intention. And if you need something bigger to focus your intention, bring yourself into that moment more, fine, do that. If you just need to sit and burn a bay leaf, do that. Or if you don't even need the bay leaf and you just need to sit and breathe, do that. We're all different. For me, it's different things at different times. Put me into like the festival times of the year, like Samhain, which is Halloween, or Ostara, which is Easter, or round about Easter, or the solstices, midwinter or the summer solstice. Put me into those kind of times, and I love a bit ritual. I love getting into the feeling of it and really drawing those energies in and allowing myself to be the season and take on the qualities of that time, of the energy, full moon, bring it on, ritual all the way. Sometimes we don't have time for that. Sometimes we are sitting on a train going somewhere and we think, oh crap, I need this to happen. And we just think the thought and we make it happen. But we can only do that when we believe enough in our own power and our own magic in order to be able to bring this stuff in. So if you want to set the intention and burn a candle, and, one of the loveliest spells to do is to dress a candle with oil. So the different oils, they have different qualities about them. So if you're looking for something to take away cynicism and to bring in more openness and release resistance, let's say, you could use an oil. I mean, for me, rose is coming straight to my mind. There's a million books out there as well, and this is for any witches or wannabe witches. There's a million books out there that tell you, this herb's good for this, and this herb's good for that, and this crystal's good for this, and this oil's good for this. And these books are great. I've got shelves and shelves of them. I've read them, been there, tried to sit and remember and learn every single one of them. But for me, witchcraft's a bit more intuitive. It's like, ask the goddess which oil you need today. Oh, jasmine's popped in my head. Right, I'll use jasmine. Lime's popped in my head. Oh, I'll use lime. There's never been a witchcraft book written for you. There's never been a crystal book written for you, or a herbal book written for you, or an oils book written for you and what you need right now. You know everything. You've lived lives and lives and lives and lives and lives gathering up wisdom and information, experimenting with things. And actually in the year 1412, you did a little thing and yarrow worked really well to attract money for you. So that'll be in here and that'll be in here somewhere. Learn to access it. So a nice thing to do is to take a candle. I would say a black candle. I mean, people are like, oh, witches and black candles. The reason witches are associated with black is because black absorbs negativity.
Oh.
So when a witch is walking around with her black skirt on and a black top on and a black cape, should she wear a cape, and a black boots and a black pointy hat, it's because actually that will stop any negative energy from getting through into her, which, takes away a little bit of the, spookiness about it. Yeah. We burn black candles because it takes negativity out of situations. If you have a black candle burning in the room, it'll literally suck in all the negative energy and transmute it all away. Wonderful. If you take a black candle and you dress it, just rub a little bit of oil into it, with an oil like roses coming to mind, something like lemon, which is releases resistance, it's very open, it's very light and airy. Lotus is one of my favourite oils as well to use, beautiful oil. And once you've dressed it, take something sharp. You can use a kitchen knife, or you could use a cocktail stick even, and write your name down the side of it. Engrave your name down the side of the candle. And then every night, burn it for however long you want to burn it for, an hour every night. And if you timed that candle burning with the moon in her waning phase, so that is the moon getting smaller in the sky, that will take away cynicism. It will take away negativity in and around your beliefs, in and around yourself. And it'll take away negativity out of every aspect of your life and yourself.
So whatever is blocking me from
believing in
whatever I want, potentially, could be, I'm going to give that a go.
Black candles all the way.
I will let you know.